Binge Down, how we feeling today? It's your boy Dave, and I'm joined by fellow weebs, Alki and Kyle, and we are continuing our coverage of the hit Korean webtoon anime adaptation Solo Leveling with episodes 10 and 11 titled What Is This? A Picnic and A Knight Who Defends an Empty Throne. All of that needs to be said is peak, just peak. That's really it. What else is there to say besides I feel like I'm just like living in a dream. These, especially episode 11, was just such a treat, and it's definitely going to be an episode that I will be going back on my own watching. Like Kyle and always say, definitely lots of reaction videos on YouTube. I'll be consuming those for months on end. That's how much I loved episode 11. One thing I want to say that should have been brought up like weeks ago is that the animators at some point did state that the animation of the fights was going to get better as Sung got stronger. And that is certainly the case, it feels like, from where the animation was with his first bout with Rasaka in episode, whatever that was, 3. It just feels like the animation has 100% stepped up. And this battle, I feel like, is one of the more good looking battles I've ever seen. If we're just excluding Demon Slayer and all of their fights, I feel like this honestly falls into the top 3 of most well animated fights that I've personally seen. But I could just gush over and over about the fight scene in episode 11. I think it was anime episode of the year, and it's not even a contest yet. I've just been so happy with the adaptation, and I cannot express the amount of devastation that I'll be feeling after next week's episode. Really not much else to say, but I'll just pass it over to Kyle and Alki for their thoughts.
Just a sick episode, bro. I mean, you said it all. First of all, it's great to be back. Every 2 weeks, it's feels like too long, but um, man, I feel like finally we've been talking about this all year about where this is going to go, and I feel like we were pretty much right.
Mhm.
Seeing this fight on screen is, I mean, it's like I have no words for it. The animation is fantastic. I don't know if it's the greatest fight I've ever watched in animation,
No, I
but
wouldn't
like
say
it's
that, but it's
it's like freaking up there. It's
yeah,
definitely high quality, so fluid. Um, the background stories are really moving well. I just really like how much the story is developing, and I wish I had 10 more episodes.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Amen.
Yeah, I don't think I have anything new to say.
All right, let's just kick it right off then with episode 10. What is this? A picnic? How we're going to do this episode and specifically is we're just going to talk about Choi essentially to start off, get all of his scenes from both this episode and next episode so we don't really have to worry about it. And then we'll get
Choi
into this.
being
I don't know his like whole name, but he's the pink-haired guy
With the
who
glasses.
the glasses who leads the
Top wolves,
yeah,
some shit like that.
yeah,
Scavenger
hunters.
Guild?
He's the
Hunters
Hunters
Guild.
Guild.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
right. That's right. That's right. But that's who we'll be covering. So essentially, Choi has a dream about the ants, obviously seeing someone important died to him, and he's constantly, as we've known from the past episodes, that he has been building this plan to start reconquering Jeju. And I think what I gathered from these scenes, I might have overlooked it, but this isn't them going to beat the gate. It's just
Nah.
them going to kind of test out where Jeju Island stands as of right now in terms of, I guess, difficulty and strength. So it's really just like a scouting mission. But
Yeah.
Choi does gather a bunch of hunters. Was it only him and Cha being the only S ranks? I honestly didn't pause the screen to notice if like they were able to invite other guild S rank members to
I
join.
just saw them two as the definite S ranks,
Okay.
and let's just leave it at that, I guess.
Okay. And that
And that document proposal thing that I guess he had drawn up for either, I'm assuming that the head of the Hunters Association, that definitely said reconnaissance mission.
yeah.
So they're going to just see what's going on there, see if they can probably, I assume their plan is to see if they can come up with a plan.
I feel like so we this was never in the
It's definitely not in the
the
webtoon.
webtoon. Like them going to the island definitely happens, but we never get this reconnaissance. So I personally am going to be very interested. I'm going to just mention a quick spoiler. So if you want to skip over it, just fast forward like 15 seconds. But I feel like this is where we're going to see that the ants, like they're going to go to the island and see that they're flying. Like that's what I think is going to happen rather than them just kind of getting the pictures through online. Like they might get them online too, but feel like they'll actually experience
Hmm.
first hands how the ants are adapting essentially.
Oh my god, I'm so hype.
Yeah, I mean, I
Hey, we're
love
not gonna
this.
get to see it,
Yeah,
dude.
we're not. I don't think so either. I don't think we'll see the reconnaissance mission. We'll definitely see the post aftermath of what happens on the reconnaissance mission, but I don't think we're gonna actually see what happens. What do you think, Kyle?
I don't know. There's a chance we see it. They made a point to weave the storyline throughout both of these episodes. So if it's just completely dropped for the finale,
Mhm.
would feel odd. I mean, I think yeah, either we get it or your theory comes true, Dave. I feel like those feel like the two most likely options.
I just feel like they're gonna drop a season 2 like tomorrow.
I hope that
That
would
would
be
be literally the craziest thing that's ever happened to me.
that would be the best. We can go now back to our MC, our boy Sung Jin Woo. I guess we can just talk about the date. It's not really even a date, but Joo Hee is going to retire. Not really big news for anybody here. I think we all have expressed our disinterest as these two as a couple. So
It was just never going to be. She even mentions it. Their lifestyles at this point are quite different. She doesn't want to be a hunter anymore. It feels like a very prudent decision for her. It feels like the right decision for her. So I respect it.
yeah, we respect the decision. I won't say we're anti-Jew here or anything, but we definitely respect
Yeah.
her decision.
It feels tough. I mean, there's got to be a lot of money she's walking away from. Obviously, she literally cannot engage in the profession, it seems, but just walking like she's a B rank healer. That feels like you could make so much money as a B rank healer.
Yeah.
I'm glad. It's about time. Get out of here, dude. You're gonna hold us back.
Yeah, we'll move on
I
from
like
this.
her.
We've already, as Sung Jin Woo alludes to, we're well past the point of B rank heroes at this point in the story. So, but let's continue on. We'll talk about how Meet the Woo kind of just tells Sung straight up that he doesn't think Sung could have beaten a B rank hunter straight up, but he does inform him of the looming threat that is Hwang Dong Suk's brother, who is an S rank hunter that is looking for him essentially because Sung was able to survive the dungeon and his brother didn't. It's not even a matter of like he loves his brother. It's just purely because his brother died and Sung survived and he kind of just wants to know what's going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hwang Dung, what?
Suk.
Hwang Dung Suk's brother, Hwang Dung Soo.
Yes.
That's one of the great names. I love them. It's so
And it gets
great.
worse
Younger
too.
brother too.
And Jin Ho's brother is like Jing Sung, which is just like, what are we
Dude,
doing
it's so
here?
stupid.
What are we
I mean, honestly, that's why I'm like, I remember reading this shit, Sung Jin Woo. That's the only name I fucking remember.
Yeah.
And one other name that I'm not going to mention here, but I think Kyle knows who
What
I'm
about
talking
dude?
about.
Cha Hae-in. What do you mean?
All right,
Yeah.
well, that counts.
Cha Hae-in's one of the greatest characters.
But the quote that I love here is when he's like, I'm just warning you because there's a person that even monsters fear that is coming after you. And it's just like, oh, that's hard.
That was sick.
And he does mention too that S rank hunters are kind of outside the law.
Correct.
Like
yes.
they can't really do anything to protect you. Like the only thing that protects you is just pure strength. Which
It's like, what are you going to do?
at this
Arrest
point,
them? They
know.
could just break out
Yeah.
and just kill more people. So
Pretty
they're
much.
they're just slapping wrists out here for S rank hunters.
Yeah. That's also like I don't want to say like arresting gold, but like they're also one of the most like valuable resources in the world.
Mhm.
Like any company guild would be willing to pay like an infinite amount of money to like bail them out of stuff. So
I mean, we already know how much Sung Jin Woo is getting paid, and he's not even like an S rank hunter technically. Like,
Well, that's a special case. This is
a special case, but just imagine the money that a known strong hunter would get.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, we get it later on too. Like, there is a guy that later on is like, oh, you need to give me like all of basically the United States assets in order for me to like clear this dungeon. They're like, okay, we'll do it. But anyway, we'll get
Yuri something.
Yeah. We'll get there eventually. But we do get Sung and Jin Ho arriving at their first C rank gate. This is where the episode title comes into play. What is this? A picnic? We just have 10 buffoons just camping out, hanging around this C rank dungeon as Jin Ho and Sung just go in and clear that shit. I loved this so much. Like giving us the timestamp of they enter at 3:00 and then I think it's like 4:35 and they're walking out and they're like, even if it was a full B rank squad or whatever, it would still take them at least 2 hours to clear this shit. But Sung's doing it under that time.
Yeah, they think they're running away.
Oh my god.
Too. Yeah. I like that his sister's friend is there. I also like I kind of clocked her out as a character reading, especially you just move so past her level of kind of involvement / importance.
Right.
And something I noticed because I went back and read the chapters, just like a small change that feels smart is that she doesn't have green eyes in the webtoon, but it's just like to distinguish her as a character. She has this one distinctive trait that's like, okay, she's the one with the green eyes. I know who that is.
Because as soon as you give her brown eyes, she just looks like any other background character.
Yeah, you kind of blend in. So that was just something I wanted to bring
I remember her, but I don't really remember her significance at all.
So insignificant in the manga. It's unbelievable. Like, I think the only reason she's really introduced is to give you perspective on the sisters' life at school, essentially.
And maybe just like the impact of his rampant improvement.
Is anyone going to potentially ship Sung Jin Woo and this high school girl? Because they'll make jokes about they make jokes about it, or they will eventually. That we'll get there. We'll get there. But the one thing that I do like that they mention here is Jinho mentioning that if anyone that's there, part of the raid, goes public with the information that's going on in these gates, they actually have to pay, I think it was either 5 or 10 times the amount.
10.
Yeah, which answered the question that we had, and I think at the last recording, saying, what is preventing these guys from just being like, oh my God, today I made $5 million just sitting outside of a gate while one dude just cleared all these dungeons. So
Jinho's smart. He knows what he's doing.
Yeah, I forget that they have contracts drawn up, so that just makes everything so much better.
Yeah, and he literally says too when they leave the first one, he's like, all right, we're going wherever, like we got a chance to make you guys whatever the insane amount of money is in one day.
Mm-hmm.
I would be like, hell yeah. Saying a word.
Sung does pop the stealth rune before going into the first dungeon, and that's just important, obviously, because it's just a skill that we're going to become very attached to, and we're going to see very often. We get the gag of Jinho's armor, which this armor set definitely looked better than the first one. I like the black and red more than the white and gold, I have to say.
He turtles on the ground.
And the music when they come out of this first dungeon, I don't know, I think it was the intro music. I'm not sure. It sounded very similar to it, but when they come out of the dungeon and that intro music is playing in the background and everyone's just so shocked, I'm like,
it was the intro music.
Yeah, I'm like, this is our fucking boy right here. This is our guy. Don't forget it.
This was the werewolf, right? That's pretty good. What is this a werewolf one? I'm trying to remember.
Yeah, I was just gonna say there's a montage. Yeah, I just have montage of clearing dungeons, which again,
goblins. That's all goblins.
It was goblins and werewolves. I think there was 2 of them. Like, I think it starts with goblins,
lions, tigers.
I only bring that up because in the chapters, there's just like a really cool scene where like you're in the dungeon before they go in, and all of the like werewolves, like wolves, are like shaking, and then like the entrance starts to melt into Sung Jin Woo's face, and then they run away. It was just like a sick panel that I was like, oh God. And I'm trying to think, he doesn't have because he has like the light blue jumpsuit on in the webtoon, like what zipped all the way up to the neck, just like going out for a jog basically, which is just a fantastic fit for the occasion as well.
He does rock some amazing fits because they're just so casual, and it just shows that he just doesn't care that
once he gets the fucking suit, it's the black suit. Looks like
I love that one.
Yeah.
That's one of my favorites. All right, bro. But this is again where I want to point out that again that we obviously see Sung getting stronger, and it does to me even in these dungeon clearing montages, the animation has really picked up from the beginning. So I just wanted to point that out again. We see the stealth in action against the wolves, like you said, Kyle. That was just very cool. Dash levels up after clearing some dungeons, as well as he obtains the skills of Fatal Strike and Advanced Dagger Wielding, which I feel like are pretty straightforward. Fatal Strike is if he uses it, the attack will kind of lock into a fatal strike. It's not always going to be successful against weaker enemies. It's going to be pretty much a one shot, but against high ranked enemies, it may take multiple fatal strikes, or a fatal strike could fail. I just want to put that out there. And then Advanced Dagger Wielding, I don't even really know the intricacies of it, but I can just assume that if he uses it, his technique in dagger wielding will just be better.
There is like a specific
like trait or something.
I think it's like plus 33% damage to daggers.
That's what it is. You're absolutely right.
Yeah,
that's what it is. And here he kind of squashes what we were talking about in the last episode. So he admits to
Yeah, I
himself
love this
here
part.
that he is between a B and an A rank. And at this point, he has reached the required level and can now accept a job change request. Ultimate chills and hype when this popped
Yeah,
up
we
on
know
the
what's
screen
coming,
because we
baby.
know
We know
what's
what's
coming.
coming. We know what that means.
Yep. So after a long day of clearing dungeons, Sung requests a day off, and we know what that day off is going to be for. That'll be episode 11 talk.
Yeah.
But word is spreading quick about the C rank dungeons getting cleared. One guild, which I think was
White
the
Tiger.
White Tiger Guild, correct?
Yeah.
And I'm gonna have to dig for this man's name. God damn, where is it?
Chief. We just call him Chief.
All right, we'll call him Chief. I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
I just found it too. It's An Song Min, but again, we'll just call him Chief because I just do not care less. Yeah. But he's kind of getting a little hints here from what's going on with Sung Jin Woo. He takes a peek at some documents, recognizes Sung Jin Woo's name, and immediately attaches the name to the three major gate events that had happened in recent memory, being the Kartanon Temple, obviously Sang getting killed, the B rank hunter, and then the group Huang's group all getting wiped out. So he's kind of pieced that together and sees that Sung as the common denominator.
Mm-hmm.
This guy's good at his job.
Yeah,
It's just that the negotiation aspect,
he sucks at that.
He definitely just underestimated Sung Jin Woo. He had no idea what he actually has in his hands.
I liked how he was like, "Boss, where you going?" He's like, "Isn't it obvious? Going to scout a new recruit." I just thought that part, I thought that part was good.
I mean, it's probably literally the funnest thing they can do.
Yeah, it's probably awesome. Like, let's go watch some motherfuckers fuck shit up in action and like try to give him money to do that for us.
This is the first guy that's like outside of like our squad, if you want to call it, being like Ju Hee and the one-armed guy. Like, this is the first guy that's actually getting their hands on the knowledge of being able to determine that Sung Jin Woo is probably reawakened. So if this guy was able to figure it out, it's not going to be too long before others figure it out. But this interrogation scene, or whatever you want to call it, this negotiation scene is just... This was something that I loved in the manga, and I still absolutely loved watching it in the anime because, one, not only does Sung Jin Woo flex how strong he is with the stealth ability, cuts him a little bit, but he also weasels this guy out of hundreds of millions of dollars. Money. Yeah. And it goes into show that Sung Jin Woo is not just pure strength. And this is why we fucking love Sung Jin Woo. He's just the man all the way through to his core.
Now, do you think this is his like intelligence stat playing a role here at all?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, probably. It has to be. Like,
I was just gonna say,
E rank Sung Jin Woo hunter at the time was smart enough. He might have been.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Maybe it's a combination too. He's definitely, like you saying, losing a little bit of that like humanity emotion too. He's not like, because I feel like E rank Sung Jin Woo was like really kind and would have been like, oh, like that's such a good offer, like you know, but and then he wouldn't have like actually like used the leverage to then like create this situation where the guy is paying them 600 million for 3 gates. He would have been like, oh, sorry, bud. Like,
what he did was ultimately, more than the money, was to kind of essentially blackmail the guy into never sharing the info that he has on Sung Jin Woo.
Yeah.
That's the
he also, I feel like, realizes that if this random guy, he's not necessarily random, but he's not like a big player in the world, and this guy found out, like, if anyone takes 35 seconds to try to connect these very obvious dots, he's kind of been found out. So he knows that kind of clock is ticking.
Yeah.
If there's one thing that Sung Jin Woo has, despite the reawakening, the man's got experience.
Mm-hmm. It's definitely showing now with all those C rank dungeons that he's cleared, B rank enemies that he's fought. It's definitely showing through.
All this like background knowledge, I feel like he amassed it even before he gained the ability, because he was like a survivor.
Yeah, that's a good point.
He always survived, and he saw a lot. And he even talked about it from like episodes 1 and 2, like, for these reasons, like, I can't do shit, and now he's it's not a factor to him.
Yeah, I mean, episode 1, 2, he figures out pretty much all the commandments for everybody.
Exactly.
So there's a baseline there for sure for him.
Yeah,
gives him the potion too, which was just funny.
that felt like I close your eyes and open your mouth. I was like, what are we was this I was like, what are we doing here?
Sus.
Yeah, it was very sus. But yeah, Song is also showing off that kindness that he still has in him a little bit. And
So when him being chief goes back to the office, gets the knowledge that he's been scammed, but then is like, okay, I've got his number, like we're in the door type of deal. That just makes me laugh of his like half glass full
yeah,
outlook on what actually just happened to him.
he paid
But
600
also
million for Song Jin-woo's phone number, basically.
the audio is not saying Sung Jin Woo. The audio
Really?
is like a Japanese name, but the subtitles say Sung Jin Woo. I know we've
Interesting.
talked about it before, like if they changed his name and they
Mhm.
totally, if you're watching it in Japanese without subtitles and you can understand Japanese, it's like it was like Mitsu's, it was like Mizu something. It was like a long thing that was
Really,
not Sung Jin Woo.
I have not noticed that.
No
Yeah,
way.
I swear. Unless whatever site I was watching on was the audio was busted, he was not saying it.
I mean,
I could be
I'd have
wrong,
to,
but
yeah, we'll have to come back with that in the finale episode, but I haven't noticed it, to be honest. It's hard because Japanese, like for us as English speakers, a lot of the times, like the name will be the first part of the sentence, whereas like in Japanese, it kind of gets like, I don't know, it's always consistently in the same spot over and over, and I never really can recognize it, but
because I
we'll
mean,
have to be on the
theoretically,
lookout.
there
You're
wasn't
right, though. I
changed.
mean,
Yeah, like they could the audio, and then we're obviously only watching the subtitles. So
and it's
I,
again, it's not
you
like
know,
they've
and the
ever
same
told
thing,
us we're
like
in Japan either,
yeah,
you
I'm
know?
trying to think of a time where they mentioned Korea, and you could probably go to a line where it mentions Korea, and it'll probably just say Nippon instead
Right.
Well,
Instead.
that's a weird way
to
to
confirm.
translate, though. That's really odd.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it wouldn't get to that level. I don't know, but like Jeju Island is an island off of Korea. Like that's not a Japanese island.
Hmm.
True.
So
Very
like
Maybe
true.
it still
again,
takes place in Korea then. They haven't confirmed or denied that.
I think they're keeping it purposely ambiguous.
Well, there's going to
Definitely.
be character like they already brought
Well,
up
yeah, it'll get to
that
a
there's
point. Yeah,
characters from other countries, so we're going to
yeah.
learn about
Yeah,
other
let's just get
countries.
into that.
If there's guys roll in with Korean flags, that would be crazy.
That would be so funny.
That would be hilarious.
But we'll get there in what 2 years?
Yeah, so let's go ahead. That was pretty much everything for episode 10. I think we covered everything there. So let's jump into episode 11. And this is where I want to start again with the side plots, and then we'll get into Sung Jin Woo's big fight here. But the main thing that I want to talk about from episode 11 is Jinho and the family dinner that he has with his father and older brother. And like I was saying, I think it was in the last episode, like these are the scenes that I really want more of. This is, I don't remember again if this happened in the
Do
webtoon.
you
I don't.
really?
I think it's pretty interesting. I like the Eugen construction like side of it. I mean, obviously, in an ideal world, only Sung Jin Woo's storyline, and it's just like
Yeah, that's
fight
what
after
I'm
fight.
saying.
Yeah, but in terms of building up the world and what's happening, I think these scenes are very important. Like, I don't really care about Ju Hee's side story. I don't really care about like these other characters that have eventually died off side stories. I like this one because this is like immediately going to impact like this the stuff that happens with Eugene Construction is going to immediately impact our boy because he's a part of them. Or I don't know if he is technically a part of them right now. At least he's working for them right now. But I just like this aspect. I don't even remember meeting the brother in the webtoon. And it was honestly really cool seeing it here because I have someone I can root against. Like this kid is clearly
Yeah,
a
he's a
dick. His name is
D-bag.
Jin Sung. He has had no luck recruiting any S rank hunters in their country to join Eugene Construction, but he did say that he was looking overseas to the Middle East and somewhere else specifically for hunters.
Fuck him. I don't give a shit about him.
Yeah. I mean, Jinho's the guy. We know that he's gonna win in the end.
Yeah, he has to. I mean, his brother
He's
is
got Sung Jin Woo on his side. Like
Yeah,
he's
it's
unbeatable.
just, and he says it too, or he thinks it rather. It's like you don't know.
Would
Yeah.
you wear that armor that he wore? I would wear it. I would wear that shit. No doubt.
Yeah. I would
Dude,
at least
hell-
wear it out until someone told me like, "Yo, you look like an idiot." Are you kidding me? When Pops gave that to me, and then I looked at myself in the mirror when I was alone, I'd be like, "Fuck yeah, dude, I'm sick as shit right now."
Yeah.
You look like the Shogun.
Yeah, I would be fucking flexing in the mirror all day.
All right, let's get into the meat and potatoes, baby. Let's get Sung at the very beginning is considering his job change quest, but obviously we know he's going to accept it because it's an opportunity, one, for him to get stronger. He knows that Huang's brother is on the lookout for him and that he needs to at least get to a point of being able to compete with an S rank. So even if the stakes are high, as always, it's time to cook, like Kyle said. So I love the shadow shot that we get right before he enters of him kind of just in the park, just standing there, but the shadow is just kind of reaching out into nothing. It's awesome. But he does enter. We learn right away that he can't use potions or full recovery, and he can't leave until the dungeon is over. And immediately he just encounters countless number of knights essentially that just keep getting stronger and eventually mimic his experiences that he's had since entering the Kartanon Temple in episode 1. So I always thought that was a nice touch, that especially looking back with the knowledge that we have of reading and everything, it's just such a cool touch that this dungeon in particular mimics the experiences that he had, just because, again, this is just to not only establish how far he's come, but also to train him even further in those lengths. So I love these scenes here. And even the knights even look like the people that he had to kill in the past too. So that was a great touch, I thought.
Yeah. It's also
100%.
feels like these are like his potential jobs.
Yeah, true. You're also you're getting the mages, you're getting the assassins, the bruisers, the knights, like everything.
Knights.
You're absolutely right.
Yeah,
I didn't even think about
rogues.
that. Yeah, because he's thinking about this too the whole time. Like he knows he's about to get a job change, or like his job here. And so he's really considering all of who he's fighting as well as the role that he's going to play. So I like that you pointed that out.
But
I like the
gear too. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
What's that?
Like at this point, he hasn't been using gear. He actually like starts to wear the gear that he's been collecting.
He's had maybe like he's never had a chest piece, but I think he does get like gauntlets earlier in the season. But like again, he always rocks them being invisible, which I love that touch of the show, because it is just like in World of Warcraft, where if you get like a really sick piece of armor that has like all these great stats, but it looks so stupid, like you can just turn that off and just still have these stats. Like it's a nice touch.
Definitely. I think that is one of the coolest parts, actually. Because imagine him walking around like fucking
he looks
Jinhu,
so
looks like a dumbass. But
we need to see the suit.
But I like the introduction to this dungeon. I feel like he's been just fucking shit up now for like 9 episodes straight. So it's about time for him to have a challenge.
Yeah, Cerberus was his last tough test, but that was still like a few episodes ago. I want to say maybe 2 episodes ago. And even in between those, like all the dungeons that he's been clearing haven't been quite the challenge that our boy IGRIS has presented. But this was so amazing. So he equips himself up and his fatigue has recovered. He reaches this door that, of course, looks eerily similar to the Kartanon Temple door that he saw in episode 1. And as soon as he opens that door, he gets that aura, baby. That
knees
that
weak,
murderous,
arms are heavy.
That murderous intent coming right from this empty throne room. And who else but Knight Commander IGRIS joins the fight, and Sung immediately knows that this is the person responsible for all the aura that is being hit and pressuring him right now. And we could just go into it, man.
Yeah,
this was like, I am definitely going to be rewatching this episode probably tonight and just loving every second of this fight.
I just love the combination of like the zoom in shots, the slow-mo, and like the room scale stuff was just so good. Like we get the zoom in on IGRIS, and then we get him making that first move, and we get the like zoomed out shot where like we can see the distance that he's covered, and then it gets slow-mo as he's doing the first strike. Like all of that was just like perfect. It was just the best way that they could have done it.
Everything you described right there was just a perfect introduction to just the strength of IGRIS and just how high the stakes were here. Like this was going to be like no opponent that he has seen before, and that certainly was the case.
My one complaint is that he does the first swing and he being IGRIS, and then Sung Jin Woo is like, oh, he's breaking the pillars like they're dry branch twigs. In the webtoon, he says he's cutting it like it's tofu, and that's some fucking bullshit.
It's
probably the translation.
So that's all I'm gonna say. Is
That is
that
pretty
option
fucking
was
funny.
there, and they robbed us of it.
Well, nobody really cares about tofu that much.
They do in Korea and Japan, and right here on this podcast.
At your
So,
house, yeah,
yeah, at this podcast. So
Igris is the fucking best. Is one of the greatest characters in the show,
Mhm.
and I don't even want to. That's it.
He's just,
I can't even fucking talk about it, dude.
There's so many good parts to the fight. It's just it's so great. It's such a contrast, like you're saying, Alki, too, of we've been watching him kick ass and watching so many reactions, and everyone was like literally dumbfounded because all they've been showing us is him getting stronger and stronger and stronger and stronger, and then it's just like, where the fuck did this guy come
brick
from?
wall, yeah.
Igris is definitely like an A rank, like,
and then everyone is
definitely,
like,
right?
How is he getting out of this? It's just so good, man. There's so
one-
many good animation choices that got made.
I have so many notes, or like not notes, but just comments. Like I love when Sung drops the dagger or whatever he does. Like he swings the dagger,
And then
Yeah.
but he kind of
switches
let goes.
hands,
Yeah, he switches hands and just does.
does the
that was-
good old Arya Stark.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
That was so fucking hot. I loved that moment. And then, of course, when they switch the fists and Igris like drops the cape and he drops
my
the sword
God.
and he's like, "Oh, you're feeling pretty confident, aren't you?" It's
So
like,
fire. That was one of my
it's-
favorite parts of watching people's reactions. Everyone is like looking at the person next to them, like, is this actually happening? Like, this guy's so badass.
God damn, dude. To know what it would be like to experience that organically, like, for the first time is sick. Because
I'm envious.
it's like I read, like, reading it is awesome. Watching it come alive. I mean, we say it every time we meet. It's a different feeling.
I really,
And they definitely added some bits to the fight
Oh,
too,
yeah.
Oh,
right?
100%.
Which they do all the time, but that's cool with me
the
because
fight
it's such a
in-
treat.
The fight in the webtoon honestly felt like very quick almost, but like it
Yeah.
didn't really feel like there was ever a chance for me to feel like Sung was at a point of ever really losing. Whereas here, obviously, he's getting the
I just reread it because I again was like,
I know
damn,
the
he really got his
throne
ass
shot.
kicked.
The throne
but-
shot is definitely parallel. Definitely, like that's one
Yeah,
to one.
he pieces him up pretty quickly in the webtoon, as in Igris kicks the shit out of him pretty quickly. I
Yeah,
like
yeah.
too how they were like emphasizing here in the anime when Sung's like, okay, like we're probably about the same speed, but like he's definitely stronger and all this kind of stuff. And then when they go barehanded, right on his ass. Literally right on his ass. Sung can't keep up. It's just like he is right on him with like a lariat right to the gut. He puts him right in the ground, and it's like, oh my god, he literally doesn't let him breathe. Throws him into the wall. Then that first punch, and then again, like they give us that zoom out where like we're looking from the side, and then the first punch comes, and then the second punch, and then third, fourth, and then it starts to speed up, and you feel the impact, and then the wall cracks, and I was like, dude, they are killing it right now. It looks so fucking cool.
It lived up to so much expectations because when you're reading this for the first time, you're just like you're thinking about how are they ever going to animate this better than like how they're drawing it, to be honest, because it was drawn so fucking well. And like they honestly knocked it out of the park. I think obviously the anime adaptation of it is way better than the webtoon version, but I never thought I'd be saying that, to be honest, with how good the webtoon has been drawn. But
He's like
it
juggling him. He's juggling him at one point. It was like, this is our main character. Like, what the fuck is happening?
Yeah.
It's so good.
But
I saw some people too that were like, dude, you got to like bring out a gun. Like, does he have a gun in his back pocket? Like, how is he ever going to beat this guy right now?
That's
so
funny.
And of course, it's
the guard guarding the night guarding the empty throne.
It's such a poetic.
I know.
It's so poetic, and I know immediately what it means.
That I appreciated that a lot more now.
I just love when Song just ends up on the throne. Like it's just so symbolic. It just foreshadows so much of about what's going to happen. It's such a clean shot, even though he is like on death's door, but it's a total fake out, obviously.
Dude,
so
that fucking moment was so baller.
Igris comes in, uses the ruler's hand, grabs that sword back to him, which I thought was fucking badass. Force pulls it to him, comes in for the finishing blow, but Sung Jin Woo, of course, what else is he gonna do other than the eye gouge? Classic. That's how he's beaten pretty much on all of the major villains, I'm pretty sure, except for Kang. Like it's just been an eye gouge and that's it.
He went back to survival mode.
Yeah, that's what he needed.
He needed that. Yeah, he needed a wake up call.
that's realistically the only weak spot he had. I mean, the armor's not getting pierced by the knife. If you have a shot at the eye, click that fatal strike, baby, and let's get a nice accurate strike in.
He was
up in
fucking
here.
spamming
Oh.
fatal strike.
Oh,
dude.
that was honestly so cool too. It's just fatal strike popping up on the
Yeah.
screen, and then it's like switches the animation over to like that black and I don't even know
Yeah,
what it
that was
was. Like,
cool.
oh, I thought it was
That's
so
what they
clean.
did in JJK. That was like
That's what it
awesome.
was. Yeah.
It had a
I
good
was trying to
impact.
think.
Or,
Yeah.
Sukuna versus Maruaga.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I was feeling.
Man. Did you guys, side note, did you see the like updated version of that fight?
Yes, I
I've
knew that
seen
they would
clips,
do it.
yeah.
They put it. They like
Pretty
released it
good.
high def on Blu-ray, I guess, or something like that.
Pretty good.
But after like 30 fatal strikes, IGRIS is finally down for the count. What is he? Did he finish him off with like a dagger blow to the neck? Is it or something like that? I think so.
I think so.
He
Right
just
up,
hits him so many times.
right up here.
But either way, I think he gains like it's at least 5 levels, I want to say, from
It
beating
was
him.
tough. I couldn't tell because the things that immediately pop up were the rewards.
That's true. It also, so we'll cover that. He obviously gets the IGRIS helmet, which dope.
Yeah.
And then
S rank.
and it teleports, yes, his first S rank piece of armor, which sweet for him. He gets a
Moving on.
teleportation stone, which he's gotten one before. Like this one felt
Yeah.
different than the other.
He had one for
teleportation.
the other
That
like,
one
The
was
Demon
blue.
Gate.
He had
That-
one for the instance dungeon too.
Did they look like this? Were they green? I don't know why.
Yeah,
I'm
I thought they
blanking.
were green. I
For
thought they
some
were
reason,
green.
this one looked different to me. I wasn't sure if it was like a special teleportation stone, but if it's all the same, it's all the same. But we got a new skill rune, baby, Ruler's
Yeah.
Hand, which if it wasn't obvious enough, IGRIS does do it. That's when he catches the sword and when he's about to finish Sung Jin Woo. So basically, Sung Jin Woo will have the ability of the Force.
Well, it's interesting too because
So it's
Yeah,
another broken ability.
it's like because we see him use it with the weapon Egris, and then we know that Sung can just like call his weapon into his inventory and call back out because he literally does it to win essentially.
Yeah. So what's the difference?
Which is a good thing. So yeah, not that I mean I know there is a difference.
Yeah, we know
Just-
how he'll
Yeah.
eventually use.
He just
Ruler's
uses it way
Hand.
cooler. Yeah,
Yeah.
he uses it way cooler.
It's just this giant like ghost hand essentially that'll just fucking grab onto anything. Oh my
It's a
god.
beast.
Yeah. I only
Um,
know I kept writing Ruler's Authority because you know.
Yeah, well, that's what it is.
Yeah.
It's the same thing with like when he is like getting low health and his defense goes up because in the show it's willpower and then in the webtoon I think it's perseverance, but it's
Mhm.
the same thing.
tell us about the other stones you got.
Was there
Yeah, he just gets 1.5 mil coins.
Doesn't he get an ability where he's like, if it crushes it, I don't know what it does, and he's like puts it in his pocket?
No, that was the Ruler's
That's
Hand.
the-
that
yeah,
was
Ruler's Hand
he
runestone.
hasn't given himself Ruler's Hand yet. That was the one.
And then he gets
You want to
the
know something funny?
teleportation.
The whole time I read webtoon, Igris thought it was a woman.
Really? Just because of the hair?
I love
Or,
that.
like,
That's funny.
Igris.
hair?
Igris sounds like a woman's name to me.
Really? Nah.
Yeah.
Egrit.
Igris sounds like a
you
woman's
go.
name to me. I thought it was a woman's name. I thought it was a
Getting
woman.
confused with Dungeons and Dragons, Game of Thrones. But yeah, well, the final
Plus the
scene
body is like
here-
kind of sleek. I don't know.
the final scene that we get here is Sung is questioning why the dungeon isn't closing since he just beat the boss, but we realize that this is only half the battle essentially. A new quest has started where it just all it says is survive as long as you can, and we just
Enhancement
get a wave.
points.
Yeah, we just get
Whatever the heck
a
that means.
wave of enemies here that Sung needs to meticulously try and beat. Now that he just fought Igris, so obviously he's not at 100% or I guess 0% fatigue.
They
Does that
show
mean-
us too. He pulls up on the screen.
It's like 46
He, like,
maybe?
He fights for a little bit, yeah, and he tries to use the stealth skill, and he pulls up what his stats are, and like his HP is down, and his mana is down, and
So can't really spoil anything here, but yeah,
Nah.
this is what's gonna be coming in the next episode.
Well,
He's gonna have to fight, and
yeah, he freaking loses the teleportation stone again. It's the same exact thing that happened with Cerberus in the Demon Gate.
yeah.
He just is like holding it, and he's like, "Oh, maybe I should think about using this," and then he just gets smoked, and it just runs away.
It's funny because
The plot.
like it's just we know like especially it becomes like even more clear to me in this Igris fight, like when he's fighting Igris and he's at like 30% health, and that that defense boost kicks in. It's just like the system does want him alive, like the system is not going to let him go down so easily. But this is kind of like the opposite of that, where it's like, what's going to happen if what happens if he doesn't survive the timer, that's like things that people should be asking. Like at this point, basically people should be thinking like, oh, he's been kind of like been granted immunity almost, but this is like the point where it's like, okay, immunity's out the window. Like you got to just survive at this point and figure out what happens. So it's all going to be nothing but peak going forward here.
One episode, crazy.
Yeah, one episode.
The name
left.
of it. This is like chapter like 38, 37.
Can you give us the title name, or is it?
I mean, it's what you think it is.
Yeah, that's so stupid. That's so
it shows
stupid.
Up at the end. I do that every time after you watch like the outro. It shows up like episode 12, and then
all right, let's go to the spoiler part.
That's so stupid. But all right, we'll give some people some time here to make their way out of the podcast if you do want to avoid spoilers, because Alki, Kyle, and I will now
that I'm thinking about it too, we always kick people out, and theoretically those are like people well, not theoretically, they literally are people that haven't seen anything or read anything, and then that's like their last thing. So thanks for watching, guys.
Yeah, thanks for watching.
Yeah, we'll see you next week.
Subscribe to the shit online.
Yeah. They get like the most abrupt exit, and then everyone else who stays like,
it's not until you subscribe and read until you really get the full binge town treatment.
Yeah, subscribe.
Okay. They're gone by now.
But yeah, I mean, I'm so pissed that if they're gonna fucking name the title of the episode Necromancer, I'm guessing that's what it's called.
It's Arise.
Oh, okay.
Why would it be that?
That's what I thought. That's what I thought you were saying. I was like, what a fucking bullshit.
Dude, are you
title.
Sure about that rune? I'm actually really thrown off by that.
No, it's 100%.
All right,
I mean, that's what it is. Now that you're saying, does it say it?
It says Ruler's Hand. Like I'm pretty sure. Okay. Like it's like Ruler's Hand. He's like, what does this do?
Yeah, because it's not hidden in the webtoon at all. So
yeah, but. Dude, of course it's gonna be Arise. I can't believe I would. Yeah, I would think. I was like, they're really gonna name it Necromancer?
That would be insane.
So Ruler's Hand is not the Arise?
No, Arise is like his class ability. Like that's like him when he becomes a Necromancer. Yeah. Like that'll be his like
Ruler's Hand.
It's like, called an ability.
He uses it on enemies. Like he pulls people into his.
That's what Kyle was saying. Shit. It's like eventually he'll crush like skulls basically with the Ruler's Hand. So that's
right.
Why.
I remember that he'll be able to use other objects. Like he doesn't just need to call his dagger.
Yeah.
All right. So then when he gets through this like wave of fucking Nazi zombies, he's gonna be able to.
Well, he's gonna have to.
Yeah. I'm really thinking that the last thing that's gonna happen is like IGRIS becomes like the black and purple. Like
that's fine.
Fine. I mean,
I call that shit.
Maybe like the last thing is like I'm trying to remember how quick he gets the cut and starts wearing like the all black like trench coat and shit.
I'm pretty sure it's like
he looks like Neo and shit.
I'm pretty sure
like right after.
Does he not roll up to like his?
Dude, I would be like, okay, now I got to change my whole personality.
I think when he goes to get
let me go get some Doc Martens. Let me get as many black leather jackets as my $1.5 million coin pouch lets me.
I feel like it's got to be like if it's not, it's got to be soon after. But I feel like if I'm him, I'm buying that suit, rolling up to my re-ranking, and I'm just like all confidence, just like going up to that machine, looking clean as shit, just S rank.
The CEO of D&C Media, who is behind the Solo Leveling webtoon, said season 2 or part 2 is scheduled to air within the year.
That's insane, actually.
Hell yeah.
So they probably have it, and they did like they're gonna do like a part 1 and 2, kind of like apparently Spy X Family did that.
I mean, that makes sense because then it's because anime, I know anime I associate it with 24 one season.
Yeah, 12 is too short.
Yeah. So it kind of makes sense that they're gonna break this into a part 2. I don't know. We'll see how it hits when we come back from that long break or whatever when it comes back. I don't
Gonna hit
mind
like
it.
fucking crack, dude. What do you mean?
Well, I'm just thinking of like
How
for
is it gonna
for
hit?
Invincible, it sucked, but that was, I guess, marketed way differently, which is why I'm probably more okay with this being a break.
It'll be
And
like
there
a
was enough-
surprise.
and
It'll
there
be
was
like a
enough-
surprise to everybody, like a treat, like a holy shit, it's out again.
And there was enough content to keep me satisfied. Whereas Invincible was like 4 episodes, and then it was unannounced break, and it's like, what are we doing here? Whereas here, I
Yeah.
guess it's okay.
It's gonna be amazing.
But was
I
there
just can't,
something
dude. We're
else?
literally gonna in a few days. Our eyeballs are gonna watch IGRIS, the first. What is it? He's still a knight when he gets. He's not a commander yet. Yeah,
I think
he's
they
getting
all
the
will start
titles,
out.
and he's gonna get all the whole fucking room dungeon or like a throne room is gonna turn. It's
feel like
all the
Biru-
purple, and it's gonna be sick.
Biru might be the first commander
I think
that we
you're right, yeah.
get. Like
Yeah.
Igris will evolve into a commander in that fight, but like Biru will be like coming just straight up as a commander.
Dude, I love Beirut. Like
Oh.
you guys have no idea how much I think I fucking love that
Is it your
guy.
lock screen forever?
No, it was Dave's, not mine.
It's so
Dave's,
funny.
yeah.
I always
Oh.
love. Yeah, it's the look. It's
When
Biru.
they're like
Their face
facing
off.
off.
Yeah, their face
Yeah,
off. Oh my god,
that's a good one.
fresh screenshot, just like right from the manga. Just because you don't need fan art for that. Like that shit just look good on.
No,
its
you
own.
really don't. Actually,
Um,
I'm not thinking about it. I don't think there's ever been any solo leveling fan art that I've seen that's better than just the fucking
just
content.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
There's
what's
no-
so fantastic about it, man.
Yeah.
It's
so
A
good.
plus.
When you guys think of right hand man, who do you think of for song? Who is it?
Honestly,
Beirut.
Idris.
Nah,
It sounds like you're.
Beirut.
Are you saying Beirut, like the city in Lebanon? That's what it sounds like you're saying.
I am. Isn't that how it's
Okay.
spelled?
No, it's Beru. There's no T. I think it's just BER
Beirut.
or B.
Like, is this like
You
an
can call
inside
it
joke
Beirut.
or something?
No, now it will be.
That's just how
for-
my
fair.
mind.
So what's
in
funny
my
too
mind.
is all the people that just left, all the people that we just kicked out, are just not going to understand this Beirut reference later in
Beetroot,
season
yeah.
2 of Beirut.
All right, I'll make it Beirut.
However you want to
Sure.
pronounce it, but either way, yeah, it's got to be
Igor's just been
Igris.
around
Yeah,
the
that's,
longest,
I
yeah.
think that's
It's
that's why
Beirut,
gotta
bro.
be
That
there.
guy's fucking he's like
He
the
was
only one
I
that
mean,
talks,
I'll
right?
agree. Like he's probably
fair.
stronger.
There's more personality.
He's probably stronger than Igris throughout the series. Like I don't deny that, but it's
Yeah.
got.
I just love how ride or die he is.
Yeah, 100%.
I will say,
And he's like the third strongest character in the fucking story by the end, which is
Oh, yeah,
crazy.
if not like the second.
If not like the second.
Yeah.
my last comment will be, and it feels bad to end on a lower sour note, but one thing I do miss is the comedy from the webtoon, where like the drawings when they get like super anime cartoony,
Mhm.
because like when he beats Igris and he gets the things and he turns into like a greedy little guy when he gets
Yeah.
like 1.5 million and he's like
I can
all, like,
picture those
round and-
faces.
Yeah,
Yeah, can
like I
picture
just
those
that
faces.
that stuff always made me laugh and I loved it. They were probably never gonna do it in the webtoon, but I kind of miss it.
Yeah, we'll see. I hope we get now that the army's coming. I hope we get the comedic beats from the army where they're all just like
Yeah.
cheering
Things
in the
like that.
background.
Yeah, like things like that. Like it's so funny when the art style changes that drastically
I
to
want-
emphasize the comedy.
Dude, I can't
I
believe
want
it's a
the
whole
interaction.
fucking army.
I know.
Like it's insane.
I
the
want
number gets
interactions.
crazy at the end.
I want the tank guy to come because when he comes into the picture, that's when the comedy beats hit for the
Yeah.
army. When he's just like he does something heroic and like all the other people are just like clapping. It's so good.
He was a nice one too. He was a good guy.
Not his human version, but
No, he was a douche,
yeah,
right?
as his
Yeah.
reincarnation. he
Is
was
it
definitely-
me or did we see a flash of him with
We might have. No, that's
with
what I'm saying.
Will?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He might have been in that shot of.
I think he might have been in that
He
shot.
might have been in that
it was a
reconnaissance
du-
mission.
It was
to
a
be honest.
darker guy. I always thought he was white. Guy looked kind of dark in the flashback,
I
but
don't
that
know.
doesn't mean I might have saw it wrong, or maybe that doesn't.
They have
yeah.
been laying the seeds. Like they have like those girls that randomly were talking to Chahe in at like the girl. There's the black haired girl with glasses and like the other
Mm,
girl.
yeah.
But they have been dropping those kinds of side characters in the background and whatnot. So I wouldn't be surprised if honestly we have seen him. Like he again might have been at that gathering when Choi gathers his guild. Like he probably was there if I were to go back.
It's gonna be cool.
Yeah. Is there any
No, I'm done.
any final
I'm
thoughts?
done.
All righty.
Just can't wait to watch.
Yep. That's going to be it for today's episode coverage of Solo Leveling. If you like what you heard, give Bingetown TV a follow on all of our socials at Bingetown TV, X, Insta, YouTube, everything the works. Be sure to join our Discord and chat with us about anything that you're watching. Give us your thoughts on Solo Leveling, how you've been reacting to the anime and how you're feeling for this final episode. Lastly, for all of our podcast catalog, check out bingetowntv.com. You'll see a nice organized list of every show that we've covered alphabetically. So it will be much easier than scrolling through Spotify or Apple Podcasts and trying to find a show that way. So definitely check out the website. And if I didn't say it enough, once again, we are Bingetown TV. And thanks for listening.
Yeah, buddy.